Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SmarkTank Revolution, where we always kick out at 2. We are your quarantine special hosts. He's Danelle. I'm Joey. Wait a minute, that was wrong. That was wrong.
It was.
Wrong.
It was. I'm
That's
the benevolent, intelligent Donnie Wonderful. That's Joey Business.
Joey don't know my business tonight. You have to excuse me, folks. We're doing a live Skype show, which I figured, we're going to start putting out some content for real more often. And this is the best way to do it. You see our faces. You get to, see what's going on.
If you get to see our faces, come post-production of this. It may take a few times, but we'll definitely get it. And I know we made a pledge to put more content out before. Yeah. And I want to thank all the new subscribers because we've had quite a few of you over the past few weeks. We definitely will speak true to that pledge, and we'll put some more stuff out. I know I personally have if you guys go back to look at some of our videos, we have the 1994 being a Bret Hart fan, and then
that was good.
And that one, the 1997 one's in the works right now. So yes, I know that's one video that all the Bret Hart fans will love. So
yeah, all the Bret Hart fans. That's speaking pretty highly. So our goal tonight is to bring you some quarantine comedy relief and some entertainment. We just finished off what WWE's offering was for this year's Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
it was certainly unique. I feel like this quarantine for WWE is definitely like a double-edged sword, because it's bringing out the best and the worst in them. And what I mean, it's like creatives upping their game, but I feel like this is the first time the talent isn't keeping up with creative.
Okay, so when you say creative...
Yeah, I mean like the writers, the Paul Heymans, the agents, all that. The people who are doing the production and the post-production of the shows. Today? Yeah, they're upping their game tremendously. And I want to go through the pay-per-view step by step. I don't want to jump to the good shit. But I feel like this is the first time that the talent is letting things slip. Like, normally I would be like, oh, it's idea, as Jericho would say, an idea from really bad creative. I can't say that anymore because creative's got some good shit that they've got going on. The talent, though, it might be the disconnect with no audience. They're just not grabbing me the way they used to.
So let's take a step back then. I know tonight was we looked at well, no, I'm saying us for that statement, because I really want to dig into that. And I know we will as we go along with this pay-per-view. But let's go back to WrestleMania. Okay, so I guess creative, as we're calling it, the Boneyard match, and then the
Firefly Funhouse. Yeah, the Firefly Funhouse. The Firefly Funhouse. Say that shit 3 times fast. Both of those outings were spectacular in my view for what they were going for and what they translated to. They were something so out the box. They were brand new, and it was something fresh, which you couldn't have a WrestleMania the way you had WrestleMania years past. This was going to be always a very different WrestleMania. So you couldn't have people come out to the pyro, the crowd go nuts, those big, huge moments that you usually get. You couldn't have them. But what you could have is a really well thought out, well-produced segment that was able to take advantage of your situation. So instead of showing your flaws, you played to your strengths. And they did a really good job by no dead air, by piping in music and made it very cinematic. They did a great job. But even that, what I mean is the talent in that show, like Owens and Rollins, I don't remember. Becky and Shayna wasn't so bad. Most of the matches, Randy and Edge, now that I look back at it, because I've watched it again, they all delivered to us an extent. And it wasn't talent's fault. That was a cohesion of talent and creative coming together and giving us a different, good, watchable product that if anyone tells you as a fan that they weren't salivating for the next Monday Night Raw after that WrestleMania, you are a lying POS, because that WrestleMania had everyone amped. It did a great job. It delivered when we didn't think it was. Mm-hmm. And I think we don't want to talk about WrestleMania so much. We want to talk about Money in the Bank. That's the basis of our video tonight. Right. I think that expectation from WrestleMania carried over to Money in the Bank tonight. And it was 2 months later, or a month. It's a month later, a good month and a half. Okay, so a month and a half later, about 5 weeks later, okay, removed. You go into tonight thinking, all right, this could be a WrestleMania caliber pay-per-view, because you've got a really good hook this time around. Like, a Money in the Bank ladder match in the arena empty would have been the drizzling shits. No one would have cared. You would have just heard boom mics. It would have just been terrible. So they knew that. And I got to give them credit for saying, hey, let's do something new. Let's take it to WWE headquarters, and they did it like an American Ninja Warrior / great American, or the greatest race or whatever. They did it like a reality show with the piped in music, and only thing that was missing was there was no like timer in the corner, because I had that dramatic music all the time, that like everything, and they did a really good job. And I don't want to jump right to like the meat and potatoes, which is the Money in the Bank ladder match itself, but they did a great job, and they did a good job promoting it. They did a good hook to it. Like, all the production was there. It was handled with care. Obviously, it was filmed weeks ago. I have no doubt it was filmed weeks ago. It had to be.
It's awfully cold here in the New England area. Yeah. So if they were outside, I'm pretty sure that they would have blew away. I mean, it feels like it's about like 45, and you can hear the wind. So there's no way in the world it was done live.
Dude, the wind was so bad it threw all my porch furniture into the yard today. Picked up my recycling bin, one of those huge bins that you have to lock down with the wheels, and it threw it to the middle of the yard from my porch. So
God knows what it would have done to those Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that shit would have been flipping and flying everywhere.
But well, like you said, we're not gonna we'll get there, because I have so much to go into when it comes to like this style. And like you said, it was kind of a double-edged sword. But when the pay-per-view came on, it began with the tag with the fatal four-way.
Yeah.
I don't like fatal four-ways with tag teams, and I just think it's way too many people.
Too complicated.
It just seems like it's convoluted, because everybody. It's kind of like how battle royals are to me now. Like I used to, as a kid, I used to love battle royals, because there was, you never knew who was going to win. Like it was just a certain like mystique to it. All these guys in the ring, but then it's like there's so many guys in the ring that you really can't do anything. Like the formula was always the same. So once the ring gets cleared, then you see guys get their stuff in, and then like there's a climax to the match. And it's like, man, like, I would always think if this guy was still in or that guy was still in, this could have happened. And like, there's just so many pairings. But but like with the fatal four-way, man, it's just too many people out there for me, man.
It is.
People out there for me. And like, now I'm like, I've been thinking since, I'm like, when was the last time I've ever heard a fatal four-way tag team match? When was the last time we've heard that get the 5-star praise?
Never.
I can't name one. I can't name one. It just seems like it's way, and I'm pretty sure somewhere out there it exists. Somewhere out there, some promotion was able to get it right. Not to say that these guys didn't get it right today, but it's just like
they didn't get it right today.
I just thought about
it's
just way too many people. It's just way too many people. I think everybody's way too talented. It
wasn't the right combination of people tonight at all. It should have been New Day versus the Forgotten Sons.
Forgotten Sons are great. The Forgotten Sons are great.
Yeah, they are.
Lucha Party is great. I like everybody, like The Miz and John Morrison. They're all great, and I just think that it should have been like you said, it just should have been one team against another team. I think we'd have got more protein out of that had it just they not threw everybody in there. You gave it a 1 count on our SmarkTank.
That shit was awful. It was a 1 count.
On our Smart STR rating scale. Like,
right.
they started it off that way, I guess, for a reason. Like, I'm really trying to, like, I didn't think it was bad. I just thought that there was just too much there for me. Like, I would love to see Big E and Kofi against any one of those teams, just as a single, as just a regular tag match.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I just said, they put too much seasoning in this for me.
Too much seasoning in the sauce.
Too much seasoning in the sauce for me.
Yeah, no, they listen, it was a convoluted it just was a bad formula. I didn't like the groupings. I didn't like the story they told. It just was a mishmash. It was terrible. It was a 1 count. It wasn't like unwatchable. It wasn't a DQ. Mm-hmm. It was a 1 count in our system, and I think I'm being generous. It just, okay, so the New Day retains. I'm all right with that, because the New Day, I figured, could lose, since they're very good at being transitional champs. They're the masters of, like, a short-term reign. But if they lose it again, I don't want to see them get it for quite a while.
We talked about this. Well, I texted you during the show. It's like, the New Day are 8-time champs.
Yeah.
Can we add the glory that once was these damn titles, even though I think there's way too many of them.
Yeah.
But, like Charlotte Flair, I know she went on the card. I'm just venting into my my wrestling entertainment frustration, I guess. Like, too many people have,
there's too many goddamn belts.
No, I know that, but I mean, there's too many title reigns. So, like, if you only had either the Universal or the World Heavyweight belt one time, right? Exactly. Like, like if you're Kofi Kingston, for instance, like, you never get the belt again. If you never get the belt again, it's like, we can gloss past this. Oh, he had it for a few months compared to Randy Orton, that's had it like 12 times.
Randy Orton's had it, I think, 14 times.
But listen,
Triple H had it 14 times.
14 damn times, man. Like,
Cena's had it 16.
How many times has Rollins had it?
4, and I couldn't believe I heard that tonight. I'm like, he had it 4, but you got to remember, he had it for like 3 minutes when he won that at that match at Money in the Bank straight up against Roman Reigns in like 2017, when all of them were champ in the same night. Where it started with Rollins. It started with Roman going in as champ, Rollins beating him, and Ambrose cashing in on him, and so the Shield were all champ in the same night. And I got to admit, that was a cool thing. But yeah. Then you think about it, I'm like, wait a minute, when did Rollins get it 2 more times? And then I realized he had 2 reigns against Brock Lesnar.
Roman's had it a few times.
Roman had it 4 times.
4 times? 4 times.
Yeah.
Like, if
he was going on Hulk Hogan number 5.
If Drew loses, and never gets the belt again, it's like, it'd be like, oh, that was foo-foo. But, but I digress.
Seriously, if Drew loses, he can be signing autographs at Arby's. Like, I was champ once. Like, it sucks, but that's the thing. But can I get on the point of that really? Yeah, I'll wait. No, I'll do it now. Fuck it. We don't follow in order. Since you mentioned Drew's name, he carried his weight tonight very well. Him and Rollins put on the match of the card.
Yeah.
It was good. It was even better than, the Money in the Bank match, the ladder match, was very entertaining, but as far as matches go,
was that a match though? Like,
no.
That like I give credit to Jim Cornette for actually saying this. When he was reviewing WrestleMania, he wrote down in his notes when he was watching the Boneyard match, is this a wrestling match or is this a movie? Because I felt like I was watching an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark with my favorite wrestlers. That's me. Jim Cornette.
Well, the music helped with that.
The score was excellent.
Was amazing.
But man, where was I going with that?
Jim Cornette, listen, he has won mean fucking spirited human being. I mean, I respect him with his talent and his acumen, his mental acumen for wrestling, but his opinions are just fucking trash. I'm so sick of hearing that guy bitch. Like, what the WWE did at WrestleMania was so innovative. It was easily... The Boneyard is the best thing this year so far. I don't care. Fight me. Whoever disagrees. Fight me. The Boneyard was so damn good. It was perfect.
Whoa, you know what? I'm actually glad you said that. I don't mind digressing off topic because
no, I don't either. That's us.
I would say the Boneyard. If I were to have a top, thus far, well, I can't even think of three because I mean the Boneyard was great, but the only thing I would say that was better than that was the return of Edge at Royal Rumble.
Agreed. Yeah, and okay. For me, it would go Boneyard, Edge returning, and Drew winning the Rumble. Those are my three moments of the year, by far.
Okay, then I'll do Edge returning. Boneyard's definitely
Boneyard, son.
number 2.
Okay,
and then my number 3 would have been I was about to say Edge and Randy at WrestleMania. Only I think that went like 10 minutes too long.
It really did.
So I'll give Drew his victory over Brock. And that's because that's one match that I really wish had fans there.
It would have, like tonight, Drew's on fire the way he's doing. The way he's, maybe not, that match with Brock was not anything spectacular, but the way he sold the match with Brock, the way he put his emotion into it was fantastic. Just like tonight, the story that him and Rollins told, with a lot of credit to Seth Rollins, was brilliant. Seth Rollins has hit this is his guy. This is his character. It is a wonderful character.
Monday Night Messiah.
Yeah, and I like the music change too. They needed change.
Yeah, because you hated the catchphrase "burn it down" anyway. So you know when you say that, it's just kind of like when you guys, everyone should expect me to say that I can't stand the way these new belts look.
Because it's predictable. No, but so. We're going to get to that match. We jumped off on a little bit. Drew, I give him a clap all the way. Yeah. I want to start with the matches of the card. So we started with the first one, but I also want to talk about Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro on the kickoff. Did you see it?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
It was good. You can tell Jeff Hardy's motivated big time. Right. And there is something I read in the dirt sheets that Jeff Hardy wants to have Brock Lesnar be his last match. Because he was Brock's first match. Jeff Hardy wants to go out against Brock Lesnar one more time. Now, I don't know if he's going to get that wish because I think Brock and Vince might be done, from what I heard. However, for him to mention it on WWE TV during like things that weren't cut out or edited, I feel like that maybe that Brock and him are done for now, Vince, but they'll bring Brock back for that kind of a match, maybe. So I don't know what they're planning with Jeff Hardy. I can definitely see that this is Jeff Hardy's last ride. He's even said it. So I could see him getting a title reign of some sort. Not a like a second tier title. I mean, one more big title run.
Not an underling belt.
Not an underling belt. He would get the big belt, whether it's Universal or it's WWE. But he'll definitely get it some point in the year, I feel, if this continues. I mean, if this pandemic goes better, and everything swings around, we could be back in arenas in like 3 or 4 months. But I mean, you got to remember, we're in Massachusetts. We're in the 3rd worst state in the entire country for cases. I mean, we're like COVID City. So we have to really think about that and, just enjoy what we're getting right now. It's unique. It's different. I will say this, other than WrestleMania and other than tonight, it seems that WWE knows how to use the empty arena forum when it's a big marquee event on the line. They know how to capitalize around it. But when it's just regular week-to-week TV, it is unfucking watchable. It's horrible. It's so bad that even when I do the YouTube like moments of the week or the YouTube like recap, it's unwatchable.
I skip the crowd.
You missed horrible.
You missed the crowd. I'm sorry, but a live audience also.
Both, man.
That was the live audience adds another narrative to it. You know what I mean? Like
it absolutely does.
Like one thing I don't like about these shows is like when they come out and they still do the poses as if the crowd was there. Now R-Truth did it today.
But that's funny.
R-Truth did it today and it was funny.
Good. Yeah. When Becky Lynch does it, it's ridiculous. When she comes out and holds that pose and like like who the fuck are you holding the belt up to?
Look, it's one thing saying to myself, I'm like, yo, listen, just look directly at the hard camera and do it directly to us.
Yeah.
And point to the camera, but
they don't.
Like if you're Randy Orton, I understand that you're getting on the ropes and you're doing your pose, but there's nobody there.
There's nobody there. And I think in that event, it should be more of like they come out and they're all business. They go to their corners and let's do this thing. You know what I mean? Like, I hate, other than somebody whose character calls for it, like Bray Wyatt, somebody who's just wacky out there. R-Truth is perfect because he's one guy that should do it when everyone else doesn't do it. So it draws attention to him doing it and it becomes something special. When, like I said, Becky Lynch, it kills me when she comes out and does that really stoic pose on the rope bouncing. I'm like, who the frig are you doing this to? It's so
one thing about this pay-per-view that I have to acknowledge here.
Sure.
Just to get this out of the way, because when they said it, I said, God damn it, it's too early. It's too early to mention his name. So R-Truth, man, like when he called out Tom Brady, I almost cried.
That was funny as hell.
I almost cried, man. Like,
dude, that was hilarious.
That definitely was hilarious. And then it hit me. Tom Brady's not a New England Patriot. All right, let's go on. Let's go on.
And I'm all right with it.
Let's move on past
my Brady jersey's on the way. It's already ordered. I ordered that shit.
No, I gotta move past it.
I'm supporting Tom Brady wherever he goes.
I love you, Tom, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you're not on our schedule this year.
Yeah, no, I'm glad he's not on our schedule. That's for damn sure. But so let's move past it. So Jeff Hardy, Cesaro, Jeff Hardy went over. It was really well done. Now, I have two thoughts on that. One, great for Jeff Hardy. He's working hard. You could tell that he's serious this run. I don't think you're going to see any Alberto Del Rio mix-ups like Alberto Del Rio just had today. I don't know if you heard about it.
No.
He got arrested for assaulting a woman again and her kid. Wow. He's in jail right now.
Last time I heard, wasn't he supposed to fight Tito Ortiz?
I guess, but he just assaulted a woman and her kid.
Wow.
He's a moron. So I don't see Jeff Hardy. They have given Jeff Hardy so many chances and stood by him. I don't see them screwing it up. Because I don't see him screwing it up. Because I do know for a fact, I believe this in my heart, if they were to can Jeff Hardy tomorrow, AEW would just be biding their time to pull the Hardy trigger. They would in a minute. Because it's a no-brainer. You have the Hardys versus the Bucks and do a program. That's money.
I wouldn't waste a second with that one. But then again, you don't want to make AEW, like the
You wouldn't want to see the Bucks versus the Hardys? Is that what you said? You wouldn't want to see the Bucks versus the Hardys? Oh, experiencing a little bit of technical.
Oh, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. You don't want to see the Bucks versus the Hardys?
Okay. No, not that. Like, I would love to see that.
Oh, you wouldn't want them to waste the time and pull the trigger. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. No, and you also don't want to turn AEW to the home for retired WWE guys or not good enough, washed out WWE guys. Yeah. Like, I don't want to...
Am I breaking up here? You can still hear me, right?
I can hear you good now. I mean, as much as I love Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, I want to see them do their own thing on the indie scene. I don't want to see them just jump to AEW and become jobbers there. You know?
Yeah. Exactly. I don't want AEW to just house all these old WWE guys.
Yeah, exactly. I want them to be different.
That's what I was basically trying to say. Every time we hear a release from WWE, like we automatically assume that AEW is going to go. Is going to sign them. And I want everybody to be successful and paid. I'm a fan of professional wrestling. But I just also want them to build new guys too. So
yeah, and the Revolt or the Revival, the Revolt, whatever. They even said that they're not in a rush to go anywhere. They want to have fun, and they want to just work with the best teams in the world. They want to go everywhere. So I don't see them signing any long-term deals with anybody. They might sign like a 6-month deal with a couple companies, and that's it. And that will be interesting shit. I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
But so. Let's gloss over. So Jeff Hardy and Cesaro, it was a 2 count for me.
Okay.
The four-way, the Fatal 4-way crap match was a 1 count. I mean, they tried. It was terrible. What was the next match after that? It was Lashley versus Truth. That was a no DQ. That was just, it was nothing. You know what I mean?
It was filler. It wasn't supposed to be that. I always love MVP. I always loved his entrance and everything. So like that was fun. And like I said, there was no crowd there, but R-Truth, I was saying what's up.
Yeah, no, that was hysterical when he was doing his what's up but it fits his character perfect. So I'm fine with that. Then what was the next match after that?
The Bailey match.
That was trash. That was a 1 count.
Tamina versus Bailey.
And that wasn't Tamina's fault either. I'm sick of people blaming it on Tamina. It's not. She's there for a reason. She's a professional wrestler. She's got wrestling in her blood. She's good if you use her correctly. She's athletic enough, and she's not a botch machine like Nia. She's not going to hurt people. And I do like Nia.
I love Nia.
Me too. But Nia needs to go back and get fundamentals down because she's hurting people all the friggin' time. Unfortunately. And it's past the gimmick. It's not just she's a big bruiser. She doesn't know what she's doing in that ring right now.
Well, let me bring it back to the Bailey Tamina before I get into Nia.
Okay, garbage.
Like I was watching that match thinking that all right, today actually might be Tamina's day.
Me too. Yeah.
And I enjoyed watching it from that perspective. I'm like, listen, we might actually see this. This is something that actually might happen.
Yeah.
Then it didn't. And I wasn't mad at it either way. Like, it was like, okay, Bailey wins with a wrestling move, wrestling smarts, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
So, I didn't bury it as bad as you did.
I buried it. Boneyard bury that match.
I got some entertainment out of watching that, and I get some entertainment out of watching the Bailey and Sasha Banks friendship here, because you ultimately know that it's going to unravel.
But I'm over it. I'm over it now.
Yeah.
It just went too long. And
patience, Joey, patience.
No, I know I like long-term booking, but no, that's another instance where no crowd hurts that dynamic, because they can't play off the crowd. The crowd can't go, ooh, like you can't like play with the crowd's emotions. There is no crowd to play with. So now you just hear 2 annoying bitches really loud. And it's like, I'm sorry, women that are bitches because it's just so bad. I'm sorry for any woman listening, but it's not about you. It's just they're
about the characters.
Their characters are squawky, wenches. Like, it's just, they're annoying. They're annoying. It's not heat. It's like X-Pac heat at that point. It's not, I don't know. I don't like it. They got to pull the trigger with it. I'll be honest with you. The trigger should have been pulled at WrestleMania.
Yeah, but then we would have expected that.
So, no, and that's why they did. But the only reason they didn't book that at WrestleMania was because we expected it. they were like, oh, let's swerve them. And this wasn't a case of let's swerve them and we got something better in mind. Let's swerve them because that's good shit, pal. Like, and it sucks. And I'm like, okay. And now then the other thing was they had something going good with the whole Lacey versus Sasha thing. Or was it Sasha, or was it Bayley versus Lacey? I think it was Bayley versus Lacey.
Bayley versus Lacey. Sorry. Yeah, Bayley versus Lacey.
And they had that going good. And then they did the Sasha versus Lacey to get into the Money in the Bank. And Bayley cost Sasha accidentally where Lacey won. I'm like, all right, shit. Now you pull the trigger on this thing. Click, click. And they didn't. They just went back to being the best friends again. But it would have gave a lot of tension in the Money in the Bank match had you had Sasha in it. You know what I mean? Because now you know she's gunning for Bayley's title. Does Bayley distract her and stop her from winning it? Like, I don't know. It's just not interesting.
Save it for SummerSlam. I'm willing to wait that long. Save it for SummerSlam, which, if the world gets back to normal, will be right here in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah. SummerSlam better be the next pay-per-view. I don't want to see a pay-per-view till SummerSlam right now.
Well, we got Backlash coming up in about 4 weeks, so
get the hell out. They gotta listen. I don't want to see any more of these empty arena pay-per-view shows right now. This was a good, aesthetic. It was a good gimmick. WrestleMania was a good novelty show, really well done. It's still one of my favorite shows in a long, long time is WrestleMania. But it's like, I don't want to see this month to month. You can't sustain this. They're not using the empty arena to their advantage on a weekly basis, leading to these pay-per-views.
I'm going to diagnose your condition right now.
Yeah.
It's hard, well, kind of like what you alluded to, but it's really hard to differentiate what's a pay-per-view over what's weekly television.
Exactly.
Without the actual promo there. So it didn't feel any different except for now you just had visuals of Money in the Bank. So I get you there. I definitely understand that. And to me, it's just the significance of these pay-per-views, become less and less because there's so many of them. But it's been that way for a long time.
They need to get rid of that model. It's got to go.
That's why I love what AEW's doing.
I love it.
Something. Well, I think what they have. Every 3 months.
Every 2.5 to 3 months is their pay. They got Double or Nothing in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yep.
And that I'm a little skeptical of. But the thing that gives me focus, and I know we're jumping around here, the thing that gives me hope for that is AEW has definitely used the empty arena model to their advantage. They're doing a much better job of weekly.
Yeah. Have some of the peers out there.
Betting on the shit was great. And then Hardy and Omega running down Sammy Guevara with the golf cart. I mean, they're doing stuff that captivates you. You're not in one location waiting for a person to come out of camera angle A, waiting just for the same people to walk out and walk back, walk out, walk back. They're doing a great job. They did an awesome job with the Matt Hardy teleportation thing and the Vanguard one. They know what they're doing. They know how to mix and, throw in some backstage vignette or some filmed sequence and then do a live show or whatever. They're definitely using the model better. And I think the other thing that helps them too is they're only 2 hours. Yeah. And they don't feel like they're just dragging out those 2 hours. You know what I mean? They feel like they're taking advantage of it, which is a great thing. Whereas WWE, it's okay. One, you don't have any marquee guys, really. Every week, it's some new guy like Johnny Boots and Tights, and you're like, who the fuck is this? And why do I give a shit? They're on Raw. I don't care. And they're going to lose, and they lose, and you're like, that just wasted 10 minutes of my life. It's bad. And Raw's got 3 hours of that crap. Where SmackDown at least has commercials and, it's an hour and a half of a show in real life with the commercials.
Yeah.
Whereas Raw's got a 2.5 hour show to 2 hours and 50. It's too much right now. They need to cut back on that because they don't have enough to fill it. And it's evident because they brought AJ Styles back a lot sooner than they wanted to. Because they were saying they wanted to sell the Boneyard match and keep AJ Styles out until the fall. They were going to keep him out for a long time.
Yeah, that would have been good. That would have been great for the effect of that.
Exactly, and you could have had him all psychologically fucked up when he came back and whatever. Like they did that tonight a little bit, which I thought was cool. I thought that was cool, and we'll go into that in a moment. It could have been much tighter production. You could have had the Money in the Bank ladder match, and that would have been fine. It would have been all right if you were going to do this kind of a format. You could have really, since it was only like a 35-minute Money in the Bank, and then you had entrances. No, you didn't really have entrances. They played their music by the elevator. And, you could have easily just done it as a really tight hour and 10-minute, hour and 15-minute pay-per-view as a production. It would have been a little bit smoother, I think. But anyways, I keep saying Sasha. Bayley and Tamina with Sasha was garbage. They need to move on from this feud. And so let's go right into what was next was Braun versus Bray. All right, so with the Bray thing and Braun, I really dug it a lot because you had the history between the two. I like how they throw Firefly Funhouse Bray out there every so often instead of just the Fiend Bray Wyatt. I dig how they dig into that side of his character, and he's allowed to go out. And what it's cool is he's almost like the avatar for the Fiend, because you have Bray go out and wrestle, talking to the Fiend while he's wrestling, if you caught that. Where he's like, I told you, let me do this, and it was good. From a match standpoint, it was a 1 count for the match. Like, the match wasn't that great. I really hated Braun selling. He needs to learn. Like, this is the guy who just power slammed Goldberg 4 times and squashed him. Like, why, when Bray gives you one Sister Abigail, you're huffing and puffing like you're trying to do a pub crawl. Like, it was just so bad to watch this monster army crawl. You're like, Jesus, what is he doing? So, that I didn't like. But Bray, his psychology is so on point. The story behind the match is on point. I love the promo leading up to this with Bray having the book. I actually watched it live. I texted you when Bray was reading The Black Sheep to Braun. I'm like, this guy knows what he's doing. Like, he's so good at booking his own stuff and coming up with things. And right now, you've already forgotten that The Fiend was the champ. You don't care. You don't need it. He has lost no steam because he keeps The Fiend powerful. And they did a great job of rebounding. They were in a... Yeah.
Okay, they did. I said, I was thinking, you could tell they clearly don't write any of Bray's stuff.
No,
this is all him.
Right. This is all him.
The only mistake that booking made was to job him to Goldberg.
It's awful. There was no.
There was no. Well, according to the original plan was to have Roman beat him. But now that I look back at it, it's just, just for nostalgia purposes, I actually don't mind him if he's gonna lose to anybody like that. It has to be somebody that was a superhero like how Goldberg was.
And what I like about it, if you think about it, you can always play up the fact that the Fiend lost because he didn't have time to plan for Goldberg. He wasn't familiar enough with Goldberg. Goldberg was this X factor that got thrown in. Like with Roman, there's the tie-in with Bray and Roman. Yeah. Bray, all of his victims so far have had long-standing histories.
Yeah.
Goldberg was just smushed in there. So, like, even if you want to fudge it, you can just be like, oh, you know what? The Fiend couldn't plan. And he got shocked and he got caught. And that's it. And they didn't dwell on it, which I like. They didn't dwell on it and make him go, I'm going to get you, Goldberg. They just went right on to his next quest. He just was, I like how the Fiend doesn't get wrapped up in, like, conventional storylines. He doesn't sit there and go, I'm going to get revenge and keep on going after it until, it's nothing left and it's a beaten dead horse, until it's Baron Corbin versus Roman Reigns for the 49,000th time in 1 week. So, you know what I mean? I like how they did that. And then I said, okay, well, who's going to be Bray's next target? And they did such a masterful job with him and Cena. That was so wonderful. That was a feud that was solved without a fight. It was so great. And it's great because...
That was a segment, man.
It was great. It was great because you can't see Cena anymore for a little while. And that was a highlight of WrestleMania for me. To see John Cena in an NWO t-shirt was like a dream come true, alluding to a heel turn. He comes back. I would love a new NWO formed. I think we talked about this. I would love to see I would love Cena, Rollins, Balor, and one more person as the new NWO. I think that would be so kick-ass because it's been a long time since the NWO, and you would just need superstars. And Cena would be like the Hulk Hogan of the NWO, the new incarnation, if they were to do it.
I would watch that strictly for the in-ring promos.
Me too. That's what I'm saying.
I would watch that specifically for that. Pass the mic on down.
I would watch the shit out of that. And so it's like, that's a case where, again, we're tangential, we jump around. If they got nothing for John Cena, best to keep him off television for a long time. Because I do not want to see him just come back as, Big Match John with a smile on his face. And, I want that to have fundamentally affected his character. I want that to have
just said that John Cena had a highlight in WrestleMania, and the man didn't have to break a sweat.
Not at all, man. He was wonderful. And the fact that he wrote a lot of it with Bray and creative makes me have respect for him more, because he was willing to poke fun of himself. People can talk about Cena burying talent all they want, and he does. I have no doubt that he does. But this was one of those times where he's like, this is not a burying situation, and making myself look great is going to benefit the company. He really saw that, okay, people want The Fiend. People want Bray Wyatt right now. Let's make him look strong. And what's due from a company standpoint, what's the best thing to do? So he did it. But that's neither here nor there, and I hope John stays gone for a long while until they can come up with something. The only thing I want him back for is either number 17 or a rematch with Bray, a real match with Bray, but I want his character to be fundamentally changed. I would like to see something like how The Undertaker almost losing to Triple H that year affected The Undertaker's character, where he was so shook up, he came back, he was different until that Hell in the Cell. You know what I mean? I want to see that. So I'm all right with it. But as far as Bray and Braun, the match was okay. They did the best they could. I don't think Bray really could carry Braun to a great match, because in all honesty, I don't think Braun's a great wrestler. He's just not. And it's not because he's big. It's because he's not a great wrestler. He's okay. He's got a good gimmick. He's got a good presence, but he's not an in-ring machine at all. Nor is Bray, but the psychological aspect was there. And it ended a really good way, because I'm like, how are they going to end this? And I loved when Braun grabbed the mask and put it on. The black sheep mask.
The black sheep.
Doing the psychological thing. And when he came in the ring like this with Bray, and he's like, I thought, oh, wow, this is really cool. And see, you even heard Bray going, I told you I'd bring him back. Who do you think he was talking to? He's talking to The Fiend. And then Braun takes the mask off, puts it down. I mean, because Braun's got very limited facial expressions, too. He's got no range. So, and he stepped on the mask, and he looked at him like, I'm like, uh-oh, mad face. And Bray's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then all of a sudden he slammed him. I was like, okay, that was great. That was good.
They're not done there. They're not done. At the very least, it makes me eager to watch Friday Night SmackDown, just to see how they're able to follow that up with. But what they did right was follow that matchup with with
Seth and
Drew and Seth. Seth
great.
and Drew.
Yeah.
Drew and Seth and Drew.
Peanut butter and jelly, baby. They were good.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's a great pair. Because I was thinking to myself, you know, Drew McIntyre, that is your dancing partner. Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Yeah, because Seth Rollins can dance with a lot of people. He's a good girl. He can dance with a lot of people.
Yeah. It put Drew in a different light for me too, because now like I want to see Drew and Dolph Ziggler. I want to see Drew and AJ Styles. Like I want to see Drew wrestle everybody.
Yeah, me too.
Except for Roman Reigns. No disrespect to Roman, but like like now I want to see what this Drew McIntyre does against some of the big dogs of the roster and some people we wouldn't expect. Like I wouldn't mind
not the big dog.
That's not the big dog. I think that Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley can steal a show. I just really have a respect. I like right now. Who did I say earlier? I said
I don't know.
I said Bray's great. AJ's I'm talking about guys that always have like the best matches on the card. That are spot on. And just I don't know, maybe it's just this year, man. Just 2020 for Drew McIntyre, man. I'm telling you, like even on the weekly shows, he hasn't had a bad match at all.
No, not at
all. Like
even with the big show, it wasn't bad.
Not at all.
Nope.
You can watch and rewatch him. Like, he has been super consistent. I think he can. Like, he's transitioning into something really special with this run here, because like his matches are all really, really, really entertaining, and it's making me look back at this like, no man, like he always like this, and we just didn't catch on. Like Drew McIntyre, it is like he's golden all the way through.
Yeah, no, he definitely has upped his game tremendously. And I would like to say that there's a lot of his Impact character coming out. I liked him in Impact. His Impact run and the feud he had with Kurt Angle.
I forgot all about that.
All that. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have scoffed at Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley could steal the show, because you're 100% right. Impact Drew McIntyre and Impact Bobby Lashley could absolutely steal a WWE show. This almighty bullshit Bobby Lashley that they're booking couldn't steal a flea market right now. He's terrible. And it's because of his booking. It's not him. It's definitely not him.
But not him. Like not necessarily Bobby Lashley. I just use Bobby Lashley as an example. I'm saying pretty much with anybody on the roster that you can deem a credible opponent for him. He's doing everything well. He's not dominating these matches. He's not overselling these matches. He has a great his formula has been spot on since he may even have had this momentum going into Royal Rumble. But I know since I knew that he was going to main event WrestleMania, I said, okay, so now I guess my brain has been programmed to take him more seriously than I have been. So I guess like I'm an example of what successful marketing is to what the creators at WWE, I'm one that they've reached as far as the Drew McIntyre effect, because now I'm just like, man, this guy's not having any bad matches at all.
No,
and why didn't I see him like this before? Because I'm pretty sure, like, I did like the run when he was with not Drew,
Dolph.
When he was with Dolph. Yeah, when he was with Dolph, it was great.
Him and Seth had amazing matches then.
Yeah, I was saying
that was what it was tonight. That's why I had full faith in tonight with him.
But I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that I'm not the only one that has noticed this. I can't be. I've never really looked at a Drew McIntyre match and said, "Oh, that was a bad match." Because I remember saying, "Yo," especially when he came back on Jack the Rip. I said, "Man, this guy should have a belt. He should have a title run." Right. But like this year, consistently, I'm like, "Yo, this guy's having a great match every week." Like, yo, this is great.
You wonder what he would be doing with a crowd right now. The crowd, I think, would be firmly behind him.
I know.
And it hurts, but, I give the man even more credit because he's taking a shit situation, and he's the shining light of the WWE right now. And I have to say Seth Rollins is, too. My buddy tonight was like, wow, you on the Seth Rollins train again. I'm never off the Seth Rollins train. I hate him as a face. He's a serviceable face. He's a terrible long-term face. We'll see what Drew McIntyre translates to. He's not really the typical face. He's not really a typical heel. What I loved, though, is he sold, and it wasn't 50-50 tonight, but it wasn't all Drew, and Seth got a little bit of offense. Or it wasn't Seth pummeling Drew, and he played the hero and came back in 2 moves. What it was great was there was a lot of back and forth and give and pull, and even up to the end, the last sequence with the Glasgow kiss headbutt into the ropes, Seth Rollins off with the super kick to the face, and then off the rope and in like a 1-move stride, crack, you got the Claymore. He had no time to set that up. He had no room to give momentum. Okay. Which I like is it's different than the Test Big Boot, the Nash Big Boot, and all the other big boots you've ever seen because they take 3 or 4 strides and then crack you with the boot. Drew is able to pull it out of the holster and just crack right away, and you get nailed. And it was such a great ending because it was like his momentum knocked him back from Seth's kick, but then he threw himself forward with a rebound, and it was just boom, done. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't make Seth look weak, so he can keep that Monday Night Messiah going, and it makes Drew look really strong. But what made Drew even better, and this is why I was so glad we finally got to this point of the call, you had that sportsmanship thing at the end of it where he just got the shit kicked out of him. He beat Seth Rollins, but he still wants to shake his hand. And he even said, through his dialogue, he goes, you are one of the best. You are the best. He's like, but you're not the best tonight. And he's like, be a man, Seth. You want to be a leader? Be a man. Shake my hand. And they could have typically went with the whole Rollins nut shots him or, something stupid, which I thought they were going to do. And instead, they had Seth kind of bewildered and humbled and took a step back and was like, okay, shook his hand in bewilderment. And what I like is they're building Drew McIntyre's character up as a proud warrior. He'll vanquish his foe, but he shows respect to his falling enemy. And I want that to continue. I want to see this side of Drew be nurtured and, grown through our months and months of TV. Because this is the Drew I want to see. It's a Drew I haven't seen before. I haven't seen it in NXT. What they usually do is, if you start losing a little bit of steam, they turn you heel or they switch you up and make you edgy or whatever. I like this. This is a character we don't see very much who comes out who isn't like the happy-go-lucky, bubbly, smiling Ricochet type who got his ass kicked and is still like, hey, I'm just glad to have a job. Thanks. This is a guy who's a champion, who's the best. And when he wins, he acknowledges his competitor. When he loses, he acknowledges his loss and takes it as a man. I love it. That's the champion I want to see in WWE right now.
It brings more realism to I'm going to call it a sport because even in what you said with his comments to Seth after the match, so you weren't the best man. You weren't the better man today. You could be tomorrow, and this is exactly why. I loved AEW because it just felt like with their whole talent pool on any given Wednesday night, anybody can beat each other. Because that's how it should be. Yeah, exactly. That's how it should be. And I remember talking to you, off camera, off off microphone about this. You know, these guys, you know, they train. You can't just pull any average Joe and throw them into the ring and they can have good matches. Now these guys train and they work on their craft, so that's actually believable. Like, you know, these guys are professional athletes.
Exactly.
So any of them. That's why I'm like, you know, any of them, like, it's believable. Like, Seth Rollins is really good. Drew McIntyre is really good. It's his first title run. He just beat somebody who's held multiple titles in I was going to say sports entertainment, but in the WWE.
In WWE.
So I'm glad that he said that. I was a better man today, essentially. You know what I mean? You know, because they can run it back. But right now, like, Drew McIntyre is golden, and I mean consistently golden. Every week, every pay-per-view, every single time.
Absolutely, and I can't argue with that. And I love it too. And there's so much you can do now with Seth as well. You add a layer to his character. Instead of making him take the cheap way out, you can always have him be like, I needed to be humbled to get where I need to go next. And I was humble. You know, he could be like, Drew,
this Monday Night Messiah, baby.
Yeah,
keep the Monday Night Messiah. I'm going to buy that t-shirt. I'm
really
like,
buy
that t-shirt.
Thank you for showing me this lesson. I needed to be humbled. But now that I've learned, you know, and then have him go into his next thing. But before we jump into the Money in the Bank ladder match, I want to say one thing that you acknowledged consistently through our chat tonight, watching it live. The commentary was so on point, it was scary. Like, they had cues, like you said.
Yeah. So for the listeners, if you're listening to this, what we're referring to is, like, you know, we text each other during the pay-per-view, and you know, we also do commentary for the Bell Time Club. Shout out to the Bell Time Club at Dante Luna and Fenway Park and everywhere else we go. And you know, like, we're learning on the fly. We still are. We've been at it for about, like, I want to say a good, like, 3 to 4 years, and we have a lot of fun doing it. And what we try to do is obviously mimic those that have done it before. Like, we grew up watching wrestling, and you know, we try to mimic those guys. But you know, we're not as
versatile,
or not, or I
let's
say,
just call it was seasoned.
We're not, okay, that's better. We're not as seasoned as the guys that do it every day. Now, and ever since we started doing commentary, I've been listening to commentary. Like, that's also added an extra layer of my Monday nights and Fridays and Wednesdays. And I was just saying, hey, you know, these guys never talk over each other. Like, they have like time cues. And like, it's really meticulous. Like, if there's silence, okay, they know who's going to break the silence every single time. It's like a flawless conversation every single time. Like, all right, even like what we're doing now. Like, sometimes I'll talk over you from time to time. Sometimes that happens. They don't have any of that. This and like, in this pay-per-view, they had no stutters, no fumbles, no nothing.
None. They were flawless. Now, even like almost to the point where it was like you didn't even know if that was recorded live and the commentary was thrown in afterwards, because they didn't really switch to the commentary table often. They only did it like a few times. Because Graves will usually step in and stop on somebody, you know? Like, if Michael Cole is, like, saying something, oh, you know, they shouldn't have really done Graves. They'll be like, what are you talking about, Cole? There was none of that tonight. You had a very calm Corey Graves who would deliberately say something. There'd be a pause. And then Michael Cole would say something.
Right.
And it was very meticulously either edited or it was done well. And you're like, okay, they're human beings, and also they got a crowd behind them at all times in the big arenas. It's going to be tough to get those cues. They're doing it on the fly. They're adapting to what's in the ring, what they're seeing. But obviously, post-production, they had a lot more time with this pandemic to call their shots. Even people who weren't good at commentary, like Byron Saxton, was good tonight. I didn't see any issues with his game. Also, want to take the time to acknowledge just how damn good Samoa Joe is. Jamoa. Fucking Jamoa.
Jamoa so.
I want to say how good Samoa Joe is on the stick. He's really, really good in commentary. If he can't make it in the ring, which it's a damn shame if he can't make it in the ring, because I do love Samoa Joe.
We love Samoa Joe.
Yeah, we love Samoa Joe on the STR. We love Samoa Joe, but he's been used atrociously. But I have faith because Drew McIntyre was used atrociously for 2 whole years. That we were burying our heads in the sand as Drew McIntyre fans, and now we're up in the sky and we're happy. But Samoa Joe was really good, and he's good in a different way. Like, I love when he's like, you can't be an effective Messiah without faith. You got to have faith. Seth's faith is waning. And I'm like, damn, what a great thing to point out. What a great thing to point out. It fits the character, and they told a different type of story. They did a really good job, and I was really happy with it. Here's where I thought the commentary had their job cut out for them, was the main event, the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Of course. Now,
that was interesting.
From what I learned in these WWE produced matches, you're not going to get much commentary at all. There's nothing to call because you have the background score, and they have all the other produced things that's going on outside of it and around it. I didn't know that they were going to merge the two. That was a pleasant surprise for me.
I knew that they would. I heard a rumor of that, and I was like, I don't think they're going to do that. What I thought was going to happen was they'd be going simultaneously, like the women would have made it to the top, and by the time they made it to the top, the men would have just been coming up from the bottom. Like, they would have like released the door, and then they would have been cutting back and forth to the men and to the women, to the men, to the women. Because I thought this match was going to go a good hour produced. I was like, all right, it's going to be like a produced hour. They're going to get a lot of fun little tributes and guest spots and jokes and things that WWE does. And they did. They got the fun guest spots. You had people power, out of nowhere. And you had Stephanie McMahon being a bitch, coming in and being like, clean up this. Nia's drooling on the floor like, damn, Steph, you're cold. You know what I mean? And like, just...
That was good editing. I mean, because Stephanie clearly wasn't there. She wasn't in Stamford, Connecticut.
No, she wasn't there, and her music was playing. Why the fuck was her music?
So that's why I said, like, the produced matches to me are like, now that's really television. That's real television. This was an episode featuring wrestlers.
Oh, I know. It's like Pacific Blue featuring all the best wrestlers. No, but I mean, it's gonna be Jim Cornette is going to take a fair shit all over this pay-per-view. It's going to be bad. I don't like Jim Cornette, but I'm going to enjoy listening to that just out of morbid curiosity. Here's what I'll say.
A full-fledged member of the cult of Cornette.
I know you are. It was extremely entertaining. Well thought. It was innovative, where you had them at the elevator and then the music playing. And, like, this is what I mean. It kind of came out like The Amazing Race, because you had everyone start at the start line. They all come out. These people hate each other. Instead of running down to the ring and just pummeling each other right away, they just get called to their corners. The men on this side, the women on this side. Music plays, they walk over. Music plays, they walk over. I thought that was cool. And then I'm like, how are they going to do this? It was a mishmash to do it all separately. But now I'm thinking of it while I'm talking. I think for production purposes, they just wanted to get it all done at once. They didn't want to film 2 days of one woman, one man, one woman, one man, and edit the shit out of it. They're just like, let's just throw this thing in a pot and see what happens. But
what the hell was Paul Heyman doing at the office, just eating that whole table of food by himself?
He was eating the entire food by himself. And it just was like, but that was a fun thing too. And ladies and gentlemen, my name is like, that was great. It was funny. But it was odd, but they did a lot of spots. I didn't expect it to be a 5-star match or even a 4-star, because there wasn't going to be any real bumps involved. there was going to be stunts, but no bumps. Because I'm like, all right, there's going to be a lot of throwing people onto tables, onto chairs, into walls. You know, the typical, like, if you're playing, a WWE 2K backstage area, that kind of fight all the way through. And I'm like, all right, this can work. This can definitely work. And it did. It worked really well. Until the end. What the fuck kind of booking was that for both the men and the women winners? Because that was, what the hell was that? I don't know, listen, spoiler, I don't have anything against Asuka winning it. And as I'm thinking about it, that's going to be her vehicle to get back to Becky, most likely. That's what I'm guessing. Because I'm guessing they're not pulling Ronda back anytime soon. I think Ronda told them no. And so they're like, all right, well, we need the next best thing. All right, let's do Asuka Becky again. So fine, that's probably going to be SummerSlam. Or whatever, whenever Asuka cashes it in. But I like Otis. He's very entertaining. but I'm like, did Otis just win the Money in the Bank? And where are they going with this? And I think this is an instance of, all right, everyone thinks we're going to have AJ Styles and Lacey Evans win the Money in the Bank. Or we're going to have, what's it called, win the Money in the Bank for the women, Nia Jax or whatever. But guess what? Fuck that, pal. We're not doing that. Who are the two people that no one would expect winning? Otis, you got it. And then Asuka, you got it. And I'm like, okay, Asuka I can get behind.
I wouldn't say that. Asuka. I didn't think that Asuka didn't have a chance. I thought that it was any of the women that no, I didn't think Dana Brooke. I think Dana Brooke was I didn't have much faith in Dana Brooke winning. And then when they gave us the false finish, I said, I said, okay, it's about time. And I was like, oh, damn, that's not.
Then she gets a picture around her neck and still goes up the elevator with it.
Yeah.
Like, take the picture off your neck. Like, what are you doing? But what I thought was cool, and I knew it, I was waiting for it. I'm like, all right, they're going to throw somebody off camera. It's going to happen. It has to happen. There'll be a crash pad that we don't see, but they're going to throw someone off camera. Sure as shit, you see Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio existed in this match to be a javelin. That's it. I knew it was happening. I'm like, yep, he's just going to get thrown over somewhere. You're not going to see him. And they happen. He gets
choked out by Nia Jax, too. I'm like,
yeah. But here's what this is my personal opinion. Everything was really well done. The score, the production, the camera angles, the story was great until they got to the top. And it has nothing to do with the winners. It was like, I don't know if we'll have to rewatch this, but it's like, as soon as they got to the top, they're like, let's wrap this shit up. There was did you see any competitiveness really? Like, they're all wrestlers. They could have done high spots in the ring. That's what the ring's there for. They did.
So, because I thought that they were going to utilize the ring a lot more. And you know what? One thing I want them to do is not have so many damn ladders. Let's just have one.
Why was this like 17 ladders? And the other thing is, Otis breaking the ladder was a good spot. It was funny. You know what I mean? I thought it was good. Now, unless it wasn't a spot, but I thought it was funny. What I didn't like was you got AJ Styles up there, and I'm like, all right, you got AJ. I'm like, we're going to get some kind of interesting match going on. There was no match. It was punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, kick. No bump, no nothing. Winner.
And why couldn't King Corbin just grab the other suitcase, the other briefcase, and just let Asuka just take hers?
Yeah, that was the confusing part to me, because I almost got to the point where, like, is there only one winner in this match?
Because, that's what I thought too. I said,
what the hell is Corbin doing? Slapping her, not letting her. Just let the chick get the box. Give her the box.
Yeah, exactly. Let her get hers. Get yours.
Yeah, what was he doing? It threw me off.
But then I also wondered. I said, well, Asuka sure as hell got out of there really fast. What happened? Because the ladder was still there, and then there was just no Asuka.
It was so ridiculous. Yeah, that was editing at its finest. She teleported. But the other thing was, the commentary, like you said, was non-existent for most of it. They didn't do a good job of explaining, oh, there's still another winner to go. Like, you thought that was the end. You're like, at the end of the pay-per-view, Asuka wins? She wins the entire match? Like, because it was so confusing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are they doing?
I don't know, because...
That was a 3 count for me, though, only because the first two-thirds of it was very entertaining. And it did what I wanted. It gave some comedy, some entertainment, some drama, and it did do a little bit of psychological twist on AJ Styles when he got stuck in that prop room with the Undertaker stuff.
Yeah.
He was like, no! Like, he was twisted and screwed up from it. I like that because it shows that this Boneyard match at WrestleMania affected him.
And should that have been the last time the last time in this match we've seen AJ Styles? Should that have been...
Yes.
It for him? That's what I was thinking.
If he wasn't going to win, which I really thought AJ was going to win all the way. I'm like, why are you putting AJ in the match if you don't want him to win? Also, his career is winding down. He's at the total end of his career. He's got maybe a year or two left at the very most. I'd say a year now at this point. The rumor is he's very unhappy with the WWE right now. Like, very unhappy. And I could see that that's a possibility. But I think this was filmed 3 weeks ago. I think this was filmed shortly after Mania. You know what I mean? I really do.
Yeah, so allegedly this was filmed in April.
Yeah, I can see that. It was definitely filmed in April.
Probably middle April. Middle April.
Yeah. I think this was filmed before all his disgruntledness on like his streaming service with his video game service. I think this was filmed before those comments and things like that.
The OC were still employed, but when this was...
Yes, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking that too. So, but it was still well done. But I would have had AJ Styles... Yeah, he gets thrown into that room by Aleister Black.
And that's it.
That's it. You don't see him again. And you're like, where did AJ Styles go? And he comes back like all shaken up or whatever. That would have been really cool. And I would bring AJ Styles back as his old TNA gimmick. When he came back with the hood the first time. And he was very goth and just didn't speak at all. He just kind of came to the ring and had a presence. I would do that. I'd have like a broken AJ Styles. Not a broken Matt Hardy, like, yes! But just like a broken version of AJ Styles where he's like, he's beaten down and he's like very paranoid or whatever. I would have done something different until he gets his revenge on The Undertaker, which could have been SummerSlam. And I'd be fine with that. I liked that. But that's another point I had. What the fuck? Why did you waste Aleister Black? He definitely could have got the Money in the Bank.
He could have.
Yeah.
He could have, but I don't think he was wasted.
I
wouldn't say he was wasted. I think Aleister Black having him in this match made it more believable that anybody could win, because you can make a great case for just about everybody except
Daniel
for
Bryan.
Otis.
Yeah, Otis was the only one I couldn't make a case for. And then I started thinking of, this would be like if Hacksaw Jim Duggan won the Money in the Bank.
That's
like
fair.
Yeah. So that's something we've not seen though. Have we seen like a Hacksaw-like champion before?
No.
So maybe that's what we're going to get. No. Maybe we are going to get Otis with a championship run down the road.
Everybody likes... I like Otis. Everybody likes Otis.
Like him. I'm confused.
I know, but like you and I and everybody that's listening or watching this, nobody would have expected Otis to win at all.
And that's why I think they did it. That's why I think they did it, unfortunately. And I'm not a fan when the Money in the Bank means nothing, so I really hope they have something for him. I don't want this to be like a Damian Sandow run with the Money in the Bank and he loses it on like a Raw or a SmackDown, or a Mr. Kennedy where he gets beat for the right of the Money in the Bank by Edge. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see that. If you got Otis and you're putting your money on Otis, then let's let Otis run with it. He doesn't have to cash it in now. He can come up with a storyline for him. Maybe make Otis a little bit more edgy, or hell, maybe the crowd really buys into him.
Yeah, I think we've already been we started to get they're mentally getting us ready for this and prepped for it, because what did AJ say to Otis? You're the luckiest man in the world.
All right, that was great.
So why the seeds are being planted. The seeds are being planted for that kind of a run. I think with Otis.
You could have him be a new age Dusty Rhodes. You know what I mean? Like he's very charismatic. People like, oh yeah,
oh yeah. You know how many times he said that? Oh yeah.
Like,
he's at the table with food.
I mean,
he has the pie. Oh yeah.
I mean, so you could have that. I think that would be interesting, but very unexpected.
Oh man.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
As a whole, it gets a 2 count for me as a whole. There just wasn't enough to push it to a 3 count. WrestleMania was a sure hell 3 count. It wasn't perfect, but it was so much good that it was able to push it to that level. This was a 2 count. This was disappointing. Other than Seth and the Money in the Bank, Seth and Drew and the Money in the Bank, this was a disappointing show.
So all right, we'll do. I'll do 1.5. Not that I had any issue with the first half or first half of the show, which you gave like all the matches in the first half of the show 1 count, and then it got better in the second half. Mm-hmm. It's just usually like if there's for me to really enjoy the pay-per-view or for it to have a lasting impact, I'm usually anticipating the following night's Raw, and I'm not.
Not at all.
So
I'm dreading how they can mess it up. We're gonna bring on Johnny Boots and Tights to open up the show, and we might have. Oh, they have Edge and Orton on tomorrow night, which to me is like that feud should be dead. Like that means it should be dead. I don't understand. Yeah. And Edge is hunting Orton again. Why, man? I don't understand that.
Like okay, so I mean that's gonna be its own thing, but like the direct aftermath of what transpired at Money in the Bank. Yeah. Is there anything on this pay-per-view that makes me say I can't wait for Raw to come on, or I can't wait to see what happens on SmackDown?
Nope.
Outside, I want to see what happens with Bray.
Yes, me too.
And I'm like, what's next for Drew McIntyre? But I was saying that anyway. So that's why I'm like, I give it a 1.5. I would watch the Money in the Bank ladder match again, because I think those WWE produced matches are television, like legit television.
Yeah, they are. They're absolutely television, but they're still. I mean, the whole thing is entertainment, but it was very entertaining. It did the job. What I would have liked, in all honesty, now that I'm thinking about it, like in this moment, this was where they made a big faux pas by not having Mandy in the Money in the Bank match, because you could have had Mandy and Otis win, and that would have been very unlikely. Imagine if they were both up there at the end and both grabbed the briefcase at the same time. That would have been cool. That would have been really cool. I would have liked that. AJ Styles dropping the briefcase into Otis's hand was like, AJ, what are you, a moron? Like, it just did more of a disservice to AJ than it did a service to Otis. We got to see where it goes. Like, does AJ go after Otis because he's super pissed off? Or does AJ take a temper tantrum and just leave for a little while? I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
One thing's for sure, WWE cannot afford to lose AJ Styles. So, not at this juncture. He's still got steam left. So they got to do something with that. But like you said, there's nothing that goes, I can't wait to see where this goes next. Nope. What I did like was that there was no TNA. I mean, no TNA. Jesus, man. Where am I thought? No NXT involvement tonight. I liked that a lot. Because now you're making takeovers more important. Mm. Because when you mix and match the pay-per-views, it's cool that you did it at Survivor Series. And I'm okay with, NXT people being at WrestleMania too. Right. I'm not okay with you mixing every pay-per-view with NXT. I don't think that's cool, because NXT has stood by itself. It is, flourished by itself. I want to see more of that. And it was nice not to see Charlotte Flair chew up some of the card tonight. She wasn't necessary. She was not needed there. It was great. You didn't also have to see Adam Cole, as much as I love Adam Cole. You didn't have to see him there tonight. And I was like, all right, that's cool. I like this. What I also like is I think the Rumble should be one of those things where the Rumble allows you to pick the champion of any tier promotion, but the Money in the Bank needs to be specifically for Raw or SmackDown. Because you had no NXT representative. Why would you go after an NXT champion with either of these titles? I mean, either of these briefcases. I don't want to see that. I want them to be their own thing. NXT has got a lot of good stuff coming up. You got Tommaso Ciampa versus Killer Cross. Mm-hmm. You got you got the Garganos, which are gold right now. Yeah. I love their heel turn. God willing, let's see what happens with the Velveteen Dream. I think he's innocent. I really do. I don't want to go out and piss anyone off, but I think you would have heard something by now. I do. I think that it's going to play out. But, you got Matt Riddle, who's white hot, too. You can get him going. I mean, I think they're going to be... I'm looking forward to NXT more than anything right now. Yeah. NXT and AEW is... I watch NXT. I will breeze the hell through Raw and SmackDown. Thank God for WWE on YouTube. Because I can see the segment list and go, nope, 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 nope. 3-minute promo... A 10-minute promo cut to 3 minutes. All right, I'll watch it. Okay, that wasn't half bad. I'm really glad I didn't watch the 15-minute promo. And that's how it is. Because it's so... I'm like, are you the same team producing the pay-per-views that produce the TV? Because it's not even in the same ballpark. Right. They're not even close to quality. It's so bad. I mean, Raw had its lowest rating ever last year.
Yeah.
Of 20, how long's it been around? 26 years now? The lowest since 1993, since it started, was this past week.
27 years.
Yeah. And if you watch that Raw, you'll understand why. It was awful. It's unwatchable.
Man, look, it's the lack of a crowd definitely has a major factor in some of the talent. I love the Street Profits. I just really think that they need crowd there.
They're a gimmick that thrives off the crowd. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, man. So it's I watched last week's Raw, the entire thing, but most of it I had it on mute.
Soul.
Because I was just it was there,
It's horrible.
I had it on mute for most of the show too. I forgot for some other reason.
For life.
Oh no! Okay, so my setup is different. So I'll have the television on, and then I have my workstation. So I was going back and forth between that and YouTube and stuff. So because I can run the same. I can run cable on my workstation too. So But like you said, man, like you said, it's just something about these weekly Raws, these weekly television shows, not necessarily SmackDown. Maybe for Raw it's that extra hour. It's filling that hour.
It's brutal. And there seems to be a new backstage person every single week that I don't know their name, like Alicia, whoever the hell she was. I'm like,
please, for the backstage interviews, please have them segue it back to the commentators.
I know.
Back to Michael Cole. Please, can we acknowledge that everyone that works media holds a microphone?
Yeah.
For Raw, that they all work together.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, creative. Yeah. Awesome.
It's like segregated people, they're the redheaded stepchildren in the back, and then you're like, oh, here's the okay, we're gonna go backstage with some jamokes. It's just so bad. I don't know. They've got nothing. Here's the thing. Instead of backstage arena segments, I'd like to see a lot more on camera, on set segments. I loved Seth Rollins in that weird ass throne that was too big for him when he did that promo. I loved it because he has really gotten into this Monday Night Messiah character, and the way he now delivers promos is really good. It's on Bray level, because it tells a story, it has a function, and it just keeps on message. I love it. It's not, I will burn it. It's none of that shit. It's none of it. It's so good. That promo, like, he gave me chills when he did that promo when he goes, Drew, I'm going to beat you not because I want to, because I have to. And you will, like, because the conviction behind it was like, I am the Messiah, and I'll make you see this one way or the other. I don't like you. I don't dislike you, but you're in my way. I have to do this. Oh, my God. It's that Lex Luthor way of thinking. It's like, yeah, you're a dick to Superman, but it doesn't make you the worst guy in the world. It just means you have a total different philosophy, and you have a means to an end. And bad guys are always better when they believe they're in the right. You have some crazy mustache twirling fool going, bah, ha, ha, ha. Like, that's just stupid. When you have, like, confliction, like, where he's like, I have to beat you because I must. Like, that's just awesome stuff. I'm like, where was the Seth? Like, this was not the Seth we got with the Authority either. The lapdog for the Authority with the J&J security crap. This is the best Seth Rollins character we've ever seen. Is it his best body? It's one of the. I don't know.
It's the one that has that delivers the most conviction. I loved Seth Rollins with the J&J security. I loved it, guy.
I loved him in the ring. In the ring, he was white hot. He was what Drew McIntyre is to you, what Seth Rollins is to me that era. He was having 5-star matches with everybody. That match with Cena for both belts at SummerSlam, 5-star. Every match he put on, you're like, 5-star. He's so good.
But even that match with Sting?
3.5 star. But, you know, yeah, that was a bad match. But that was Sting's fault. You know? I'm blaming Steve Borden on that one. I don't care. Calling you out, Steve. No prayers are going to save you. But it was, yeah, this is the best Rollins we've gotten. We've gotten a motivated Rollins. I love it. This Rollins could work as a good guy and a bad guy, but he works much better.
Don't make him a babyface. Don't make the Monday Night Messiah. The Monday Night Messiah cannot be a babyface, and it works the same. If the Monday Night Messiah is a babyface, then that just becomes a catchphrase. The Monday Night Messiah. This right here is an actual identity. Keep him like this.
I like it, yeah. And even Kevin Owens, like, as much as I like Kevin Owens as a heel, I love Kevin Owens as a heel. But he's working okay as a face. He's doing pretty good. He's servicing himself. I think he's injured right now, from what I heard.
Yeah, he's hurt. I heard he got hurt at the match with at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
him and Seth. He hurt himself.
But I mean, like,
power to him to work through an injury too.
Absolutely,
which was really good.
But Owens is one of those characters too, who I followed for a very long time in the Indies, and I love. His best promo to me is the one where he's sitting in the chair before he faces Goldberg. And he talks about the history of WCW and how he was a big WCW fan. And he loved it. And he said, except for you, Bill. You weren't on my radar. You weren't talented enough. Blah, 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 blah. All this. You held people down. And then he goes, you say who next? And he's like, I say, who cares? That was so good. I was like, damn, that's Owens, when the suit and the tie and everything. It was so good. Rollins and Owens are just great, versatile players. Rollins is a long-term face, not the baby face, long-term presence in the WWE, I feel. Yeah. Like, everywhere where you force Roman down our throat, Seth can come up with it organically if you leave it to him. Seth works much better as a heel. And I like how they weren't like, well, Becky is a face. We got to keep Seth as a face. I like that because you kind of got Becky as a douchey heel too right now. She and that's fine too because you're like, okay, I love you, Becky, but you've had the belt over a year now. It's time for someone else to take it.
Nope.
And I was hoping for Ronda to come back and take that shit.
Let's keep it, Becky. Let's make a belt mean and work.
So you wanted to go like with a Bruno Sammartino, Ryan?
Let's do it. Let's
okay,
do
fine.
it.
I can see it.
I'm sick and tired of these 10, 11-time, 14-time champions.
I feel you.
Let you're the champ of the world.
Yeah.
You're the champ of the world.
The champ. Yep.
Keep it that way.
Okay, so let's keep everyone away from the Raw women's title. Let's just go after the Pot Potato SmackDown women's title. That's fine. We'll trade that back and forth because no one gives a shit. But the Raw women's title, we got to keep on Becky Lynch for the next 4 years or however long till she goes.
Bailey's doing great because that's another title reign that we thought that should have ended a while ago. I didn't see her leaving Royal Rumble with the women's title.
I didn't see her leaving Money in the Bank when she won it that night with it. I'm like, she's gonna lose it in 2 minutes. Wait, she left the show with it? I'm like, all right.
Power to you, Bailey. Power to you. More power to Bailey. And Bailey and Sasha, and this thing keeps going.
I totally do not want to see Asuka beat Bailey. It means nothing to me. But I would love for Lacey to beat Bailey. Absolutely. Big time.
Yeah. Like
Dana Brooke beating Bailey would be fine with me.
Well deserved. Like I said, like the false ending was because when I thought that she won, I said, okay, yeah, I could dig this. Is she's paid her dues, and it was like, oh.
Yeah, but why would you have the Money in the Bank conference room? That was stupid.
Why would you have a briefcase? Like, I mean,
hanging as a chandelier. Like, why?
We're here to talk about a pay-per-view. We don't need the damn props.
It's right above the head. Like, it was so stupid. That bothered me. I've got
the email. I know what we're doing. So,
I got to go back, though, and watch that. So, Steph wasn't in that building?
No. I don't think she was in the building. Like,
you sure?
You can edit it like that easily. All you have to do is put her in anything, like a white background. And
they definitely didn't go below her waist. Like they cut her off, and she was.
Yeah, it's like you didn't see her come in. You didn't see her or nothing like that. It's easy editing.
She jumped in through Zoom.
Yeah, it's real easy editing. Like I saw that, and so now when they have matches like this, being a producer myself and editing videos and movies myself, I look for stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, Stephanie's not even there. Stephanie's not there.
You're gonna have to edit. This is gonna be a challenge for you to edit this shit show because we have 4 calls that you got to splice together.
Yeah, this is gonna be like I wouldn't be surprised if I just say to hell with all of this. This is about to just be audio. So
this whole shit gonna be audio, son. Guys, you might not even see all this.
You might not be able to see the money maker, but hey, we'll work on it, and I'll have to work on it soon. My battery's about to die.
We've had a good time. Yeah, your battery about to die. That's professional, folks. Yo, my battery about to die. I will say this: WWE did some good and some bad stuff tonight. I really, if I had my way, the next pay-per-view would be SummerSlam, because I would like a well thought out, if need be because of COVID, filmed segment like tonight. I would love that. I do not want an empty arena backlash show. I have no interest in watching that, in all honesty. And I don't care what card you put against it. I might watch it, and if I do watch it, it's only because I'm a wrestling fan, and when you ring the bell, I run. Because that's it. I won't like it, but I'm still going to run to the damn bell because I don't know any better. But it's like, that's not a good quality product to me. Like AEW, I'm actually genuinely curious to see how they handle Double or Nothing, because I do have faith that they got something planned. I think that they got something up their sleeve. I want to see the new title unveiled, that TNT title. Yeah. I'm dying to see what that TNT title looks like, man. I can't wait. Yeah. I think it'll be beautiful.
Whoever's designing those belts, they do a great job. I can't wait to see
such a good job.
Like.
And man. I'm just waiting for all this stuff. But like right now, this is going to be a very quiet wrestling week for me because I don't really care. I'll catch it on the I'll catch it when it's on the network a couple days later or whatever. But I'm not gonna. There's nothing to hook me. Nothing.
Like I said, you gave Money in the Bank a 2 count. I gave it a 1.5. Like I said, like I'm going to watch Raw tomorrow, pray for me. And then, but I'm really looking forward. I'm looking forward to Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think that's the Wednesday night wars are really where it's at. And even on SmackDown, man, it's we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Raw's gonna come out hard hitting like Alberto Del Rio. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be very interested. I will watch if Truth gets to go. Sack Tom Brady though. I'll watch that shit all day. That'd be great.
Too early.
I know.
Too early.
Well, I'm from Boston too, dude. I'm telling you, order the Brady jersey. Make the pain less. Make it less. Just jump. Listen, NWO the shit. You know that they're the bad guys. Just join the bad guys. They got better cookies. They got better milk. Just join their side.
I'm not ready for it. I've been a Patriot fan even before Brady was here. So
I know, but that was bad. But I mean, how do you feel if you're Julian Edelman? He's like the side chick right now. Like that might feel so bad for him. He's pressed against the Patriots' glass, like looking out, and going, "It could have been me. It could have been me."
Ugh, Jules. Well, I'm not even going to get into that because
you're gonna get Brady and Gronk on roller coasters holding hands and memes and shit, and you're gonna have sad Julian Edelman like sitting on the bed like Wolverine petting the picture, like could have been me. I have no faith in the Patriots this year. I love the Patriots. This is my faith. This is my friggin' faith.
Well, we didn't draft a quarterback, and we didn't sign Cam the way I don't know where people believe this rumor that we were really legitimately going to sign Cam Newton. Man gets hurt too much.
Yeah, so, we were going to sign him to pass out mint juleps in the crowd. That's what we were going to sign him.
Yeah, listen. I trust Bill. I trust Bill. If Bill's happy and Josh is happy. With Steedman, let's do it.
With Stidham?
Stidham. Wait. What's I watching?
Hey, I might take Stedman. Oprah, fine. If Oprah's guy wants to come in.
Oprah's guy. I was watching something with that guy.
That'd be cool.
Anyway,
if wants to play.
We digress.
Money, shark, big time. But yeah, all right.
Money in the Bank was cool. I mean, it was a 1.5 count for me. Let's see what happens on Raw tomorrow.
Why don't you see what happens on Raw and you tell me?
I definitely will. Raw's gonna be a 3 count tomorrow. I think Raw's gonna.
The only way if it's a 3 count is if the NWO comes back and we transport to 1996 with Doc Brown and Marty McFly. And everything goes right. That is the only way. Otherwise, you are going to be watching, Oh, man. I never thought I'd say, like, segments with the Acolytes playing cards backstage would be better than what you're about to watch tomorrow.
And I'll definitely keep you guys informed.
Please do.
People, it's been great. SmarkTank Revolution. He's Joey Business. I'm Donnie Wonderful. Thank you for listening. Let's rant and go on tangents. We'll see you guys next time.
Stay safe.
Take care.